Hey guys, AntVenom here, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. And today I'm going to be showing you guys the updated laser mod for Minecraft Beta 1.8. Now, if you guys want to see the previous review that I did of this mod, be sure to check the link in the video description. That video is going to go a little bit more into detail as to exactly how these various components are made, with the exception of the lenses here, which is the main change of this version of the mod. But I'll get into that here in just a second. But that video is going to get a little more in depth as to the basics of this mod, like how the laser itself works, how the redirection module works, though it's kind of self-explanatory. But like I said, I'm not going to explain it too much in this video because they do have different changes in this version. And then there's a sensor, which essentially, if a beam of light goes into it, it will send redstone out of all of the sides. So now that I've gotten those extreme basics out of the way, and like I said, I covered those in the first version of the mod, let's get into the meat and the bones of this mod as it stands today. And if you guys end up checking out the first version of this mod, ignore all of the crafting recipes, because the crafting recipes have completely changed between the first version and the second version. And what I mean by that is, as you can see, the second item in my inventory here, it's this weird red blob that looks like possibly a blood cell or something like that, but I can assure you it is nothing of the sort. It is actually a ruby, and what the ruby is made of, it's made of a piece of glass in the center, and it's made of 4 pieces of redstone surrounding the sides, as you guys can see on screen, because that's how I'm going to be showing you the crafting recipes in this particular video. So that's how that's made. I think it should just be called like a redstone surrounding glass or something. I don't know, I'm completely tripping over my words. But the ruby is the heart and the bones of how each of the items are made in this particular mod, with the exception of the lenses. So if you guys want to know how to make this crafting bench here, which is the first thing you really need to make, the crafting recipe for that is going to be on screen, and that can be made using, you know, a regular crafting bench. So now that that's off screen, the laser can be made by using the recipe that I'm going to show on screen now. Okay, so that now that I've got that out of the way, the redirection module can be made with the crafting recipe that I'm going to show on screen now. I think it's kind of obvious when I walk over to something that's going to be the crafting recipe that I'm going to show. And the sensor is going to be the crafting recipe that I'm going to show on the screen now. Okay, so now that we've gotten those basics out of the way, let's get into the changes of this mod between the previous version and this version. So, as you can see, this crafting bench was not in the previous version of the mod, and essentially what this is it's used for making the different lenses, which is essentially just like the laser's modifier. So if I go ahead and I place this back on here, this is just a white lens, and if I power it up, it's just the standard lens. Like, I could remove it here and it doesn't really make a difference. This is more purely for aesthetics, and you can add different power levels to it. You can add a different range to it, and I'll get into how power and range here works in just a second. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to turn this one off. But yeah, so the lens are the new meat and the bones of this mod, aside from the laser itself. So let me get into how the lenses themselves are made. So yeah, and essentially what the lenses do is they do various different things that I'm not going to get into quite yet, because I feel like it would be too confusing to explain that before I go explaining how exactly they're made and how exactly they're modified. But something key to note is that these are like different thicknesses. You can see this one is quite thin, whereas this one is quite thick, quite thick, quite thick, really thin, and then kind of thin. So anyways, going into the new style crafting bench here, if you right click on it, you get presented with this scary looking crafting bench. It's like a regular 3x3, but has stuff on the sides, and it's all weird and stuff. But I can assure you it is really it's really quite easy to get used to once you end up messing around with it enough. But this crafting bench is solely made for making lenses. And if I take any one of these materials that is in my inventory here, that along the top, it can be any one of these. I'm just going to go ahead and let's just use gold. Let's use gold for the sake of demonstration, because it is cool. So you take gold, and it will automatically duplicate to all of the other slots. And no, you can't go clicking on these and stealing and duplicating blocks of gold and stuff like that. But it's just, like I said, it's just used for the border of the lens. And then you go ahead and you place a piece of glass on the inside here, and you can get a gold and white lens. Yeah, so this is the 2 requirements that you need for a lens. Now, these 4 blocks right here are going to determine what your lens is, or rather what it does, and the power settings, or the power settings, the range of the particular lens, and the special modifier, which is called the advanced modifier. So I'll get into that here in just a second. But if I go ahead, for example, and I place in a red rose, it will make a red lens. And what that does is it's a heat beam, it deals damage, it sets the world on fire or anything that is in its path, and it destroys blocks. So, and any one of these colors can be used to make any different amount of things. The dandelion yellow, for example, is the light beam. It just increases light level depending on the power setting you have set for it. And I'll explain the power and range here in just a second. The cactus green, let me try and find it on my list here. The cactus green is the nature beam. It speeds up plant growth, and if a user cuts the tree segment that the beam is actually pointing towards, it'll cut down the entire tree. The whole thing will fall. You'll get all of the saplings, and it is an awesome day for everybody. The blue one here is just a slowdown beam. Depending on the power that you have set for it, it'll slow down mobs on a horizontal plane, and the advanced setting will actually make it so that it slows it down on a vertical axis. And like I said, I'll get into how the advanced stuff and the power settings work here in just a second. The cyan one is a tractor beam. Essentially, it'll either push or pull an entity, depending on if you have it set on advanced or not, and the power that you have set for it will determine how fast it'll pull or push whatever object is in the path of the beam. And the purple dye is just a mixture of the red and blue, so not only will it damage an enemy, it'll slow down an enemy. So now that I've explained exactly what all of the different colors do, let's get into what the power and range settings are for. So as you can see, by itself, this is just a red lens. It wouldn't really be that powerful. It's not going to do a whole lot. But if I place diamonds in here, and you don't have to use diamonds for power settings, and this just manages the power. But yeah, so the power settings, basically, it will soup up whatever laser you're going to be making. So as you can see here, if I highlight over this, the golden red lens power +3, it'll do 3 times the amount of damage that it would normally do. Or I should say, what is it? Let's see. I'm not really sure what the exact equation is for damage, but that's essentially what it does. And I can place diamond in all 3 squares, and it will do it +9. But I'm not going to do that here, just for the sake of demonstration. But you don't have to just use diamond. You can also use redstone for 1 power, and you can use rubies for 2 power. And the diamond itself is worth 3 power. The next modifier that you can add to a given lens is the range modifier. And if I go ahead and I place glowstone in my inventory here, and you hover over this again, it's kind of hard to fit it all on screen here, but it is a golden red lens with a 3 power modifier, which is caused by the diamond, and a range modifier of 10 blocks, which is caused by the glowstone. And you can use things other than glowstone to change the range. I'm simply showing you guys the maximum one because I know you guys are going to want to see the most powerful of powerful. But the 2 other blocks that you can use to affect the range of how long your lens will go for is dirt and glass. Dirt will take off 1 range. I don't know why you would want to do that. And glass will add on 1 range. So anyways, so moving on here, we have a golden red lens with a power of +3 and a range of +10. Now to avoid any confusion, I'm going to take these out, so it's just a stock lens again, so I can get into the next mechanic of the lenses themselves. Now, as you can see, I have ender pearls in my inventory here, and if I place an ender pearl right here, it will give you what is called the advanced version of the laser. It'll add another effect onto the laser, so you can see it says golden red advanced lens. And now what the advanced one does for the red beam is it prevents the beam from destroying it prevents the beam from the destruction of items. So it won't actually destroy items, at least if I'm reading this right. It won't destroy items that land on it. So that's something that's good to know. So I can combine these in any random order, so I can have like I said, just look in the crafting bench to see what's here in order to know what these do. So I have glowstone, so that's going to add on to the range. I have diamond, so that's going to soup this up and make it more powerful. And I have an ender pearl, so that's going to give it the advanced power option. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on this. All this is going to disappear. I'm going to place it in my inventory here. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Let me go ahead and let me hit the switch here. And as you can see, we have a slightly thicker than the regular white beam. And if I go into it here, damages you pretty well. And if I had this being way more powerful, then this would probably kill me in 1 shot. But yeah, I'm not going to go into that. So I believe I've already explained exactly what these do here, but the nature one is probably the most confusing one. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place down a tree here. and then let it grow. Now, if you want the lens itself to actually chop down the tree all by itself, then you have to set it to advanced mode. So you have to put in an ender pearl to the recipe that you actually end up using. So like I said, you would need the cactus green here. Let me just make this really quick just to show you guys exactly how this is made, so you can power these up here. I'm gonna add glowstone just for the heck of it. There we go. And then I need to add an ender pearl. Sweet. And if you guys want more information, if you guys end up getting confused as to what the advanced power settings of these various lasers actually do, be sure to check the link in the video description. It's going to link you to the forum thread, which is going to give you absolutely all of the information that you're going to need. All that this mod really takes is it takes a lot of messing around with. But anyways, I'm not going to wait around for this thing to potentially chop the tree down. Oh. Okay, it did it right in front of my very eyes. Sweet, that's exactly what I was hoping for. So when the beam does end up penetrating the piece of wood, it will chop down the entire tree and quite a few of the saplings that come with it. And it is ready for collecting. So that's really awesome. I really love that feature. So that's pretty much the entire mod in a nutshell. There's only one more thing that I have to show you guys from here. And that's if you take two different color beams and you put them into like a receiver here, or what are these called? What I am totally drawing a blank. A reflector. If you take two different color beams and put them through two different sides of the reflector here, let me right click on this here. This is a really powerful red beam. And then I right click on the blue beam here. It will send out a purple beam, and a purple beam is a legitimate beam that is built into the mod, which is just a hybrid of the red and blue beam, except you don't actually need to make a purple lens in order to do it. So anyways, I hope I have explained enough of this mod, or at least the mod to the best of my ability. I think I tried to record this video at least 10 different times in order to explain it properly, but this mod really, it's one of those mods that you cannot fully explain in a video. It's something that really has to be messed with, and it'll just sort of click when you end up messing with it. Watching it in this video simply does not do it justice. So I highly recommend checking out this mod. You can make some really neat devices with it, and like I said, yeah, I think I have preached enough about this mod quite a bit. So anyways, guys, yeah, like I said, I think I've pretty much gotten into everything. I'm going to show you guys exactly how powerful this beam is. I'm going to try and speed run through it. All right, here we go. Oh, that did not work out at all for me. And I think I just got rid of every single one of the items too, because this is not the advanced version of the beam, so it is not actually set to not destroy my stuff. So it destroyed all of my stuff when I died there. So I think I'm pretty much done explaining this whole mod today. Like I said, if you guys are confused as to what these specific color beams do, even though I did explain them in the video, how the advanced settings work and all that, check the forum thread. All the information that you're going to need is there. So anyways, guys, also, I'm going to hit F3 here. Check out the seed that I'm just showcasing this seed at random. Yeah, check out the seed because you spawn on top of this little thing right here, this little platform, and if you jump off the edge into the water, there is a ravine under this overhang. It is absolutely amazing. I just spawned this world at random when I was going to review this mod, and it turned out to be a really cool world, and I just highly recommend you guys check it out because this is probably the first ravine I have ever seen under an overhang in this fashion. I have always wanted to see one like this, but I simply never have. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed this particular video. My name is AntVenom, and I bid you all farewell. Thanks so much for watching.